I was like, but wait, Hongjoong is a Kim. He's a leader. He's kind of a bully. He's everything you've ever loved. And then I think I sent her so many TikToks and so many things that I ended up
You
falling for
really
Hongjoong
did.
myself. Like this was the funniest reverse Uno play that I've ever done in my life. This is MIA 2K Podcast, and we are your ticket from Miami to Seoul. We are your pilots, Kathy and Laura, two fun-seeking girls with obsessive fandom tendencies, taking you on a ride through the Hallyu wave from our perspective as opinionated, grown Latina fans from Miami.
Before we close the cabin doors, make sure you're following us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you like to watch, our in-flight podcast video is available on YouTube and Spotify.
Once we reach our cruising altitude, we'll be serving one thing and one thing only, piping hot tea. We're ready to fly into today's topic with our hot and sunny takes.
So fasten your seatbelts, sit back, relax, and prepare for takeoff.
Hi guys!
Hi guys!
Today we are keeping the updates going, and we will be bringing you an update on one of our top groups because it's been already 2 years since we first talked about them, and our love has only grown. They have grown, and we also didn't have a video file for that episode. And most importantly, there is new wink wink aTEAny on all of them that we have to cover.
That's so cute.
I don't know if you guys understood that one, but it's fine. We'll explain it later.
Before we tell you guys who we'll be covering today, just a couple of things we want to get out of the way. First, we wanted to thank you all for your continuous support throughout all 55 episodes of our podcast.
God, 55.
I know.
Wow. Wow.
If you like what we're doing here, please don't forget to subscribe to us on your favorite listening platform and leave us a review. Every interaction helps.
Yes, it really does. Thank you all.
And also, if you have a topic that you would like us to cover, let us know. You can leave it in your review, or you can reach out to us through any of our social media channels. It's at MIA, the number 2, K podcast. We're always looking for new ideas and would love to cover topics that you guys request.
Yes.
And finally, just as a reminder, our Valentine's Day scrunchie is currently live on our shop.
Yay.
So don't forget to check it out. It's really cute.
It's so cute. It's so boba bitch coated. I can't.
It really is.
Ugh.
Actually, if I may.
You may. You may.
I ordered a phone cover
Ooh.
to just kind of look at the quality of it, right?
Sure, sure.
And
oh my
it has
God.
the print. It has the cute little, if you're not watching.
Exclusive preview.
If you're not watching, I'm showing an iPhone cover with our Valentine's Day scrunchie print, which is a pink boba tea with cute little chocolate covered strawberries on top.
That's so
Make a little
cute.
heart.
I can't wait to put it on my phone. I'm so excited. It's so cute.
It's really cute.
If you guys want phone covers, let us know what phone models you have, and we'll make it work somehow. Okay? Just let us know.
Yeah.
So with all of that said, let us jump into the vast sea that is Ateez. Okay, now you get it. It's aTEAny, like tea, like sips tea, like there's a lot of tea. So aTEAny. Okay, I'm done. The vast sea that is Ateez, now 5 years into their careers and our lives as aTEAny sailing along with them. Let's get started.
So if you didn't know, 8 makes 1 team. Which is also Ateez's tagline or like introduction. No, it is their tagline, right?
Yeah.
Basically, they debuted in 2018.
Yes. On my dad's birthday. October 24th.
I was just going to say, what is your dad's birthday?
October 24th.
For the listeners that don't know.
Ateez is a Scorpio, by the way. Like the group is a Scorpio because of their debut date. So love that for me. Sorry.
There's 8 members. Hongjoong, which is the leader, Songhwa, Yeosang, San, Mingi, Wooyoung, and Jonghyun. They're mostly 99 liners, except for Hongjoong and Songhwa, who are 98, and Jungho, who is 2000.
Hmm. And
And
you can find out more about them being 99 liners on our 99 liners episode that we dropped, I think in November of 2023. So a couple
yeah,
months ago. And that was a very fun episode for us to record. So definitely go watch and enjoy how unhinged we were because it was fun. So yeah, go watch the 99 liners and find out how a group with 5 99 liners out of 8 members works because wow,
is a lot.
it's a lot.
And then finally, well, not finally, but just as a little tidbit, Kathy did say that they were a Scorpio as a group because of their debut date.
Yeah.
But also, fun fact, none of the members are earth signs. So
Yeah. We have air, we
groundedness,
have water, we have fire, but grounded, no one at KQ is an earth sign.
that's
Even
insane.
not even Maddox, not even Eden. We're gonna talk about them later really briefly as well. But like I don't know, because with BTS, and I don't want to bring them into this for any other reason other than the Zodiac conversation. I always thought it was really funny that there wasn't a Leo in the group because I'm very drawn to Leos.
Mm.
Turns out Bang PD is a fucking Leo. And I was like, there it is. But we don't have that. We don't have that with KQ in the Earth situation. There's no one is keeping them anchored to this Earth. That's why they're flying with ships everywhere.
And in general, since our last episode, which was only our sixth episode ever, uh, a couple things have changed, like personally, Kathy.
I don't think in that episode I was yet Hongjoong biased the way that I am.
Mm.
I think I was very much drawn to Songhwa because when he said I'm the one in my Jones, it was over for me. And I really fell for him immediately in that haircut that he had with like the like reverse widow's peak, I guess, that he had going on. It was like
Mm.
a long cut bang
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
going forward. And yeah, so I was really, really drawn to him. And then I felt for Hongjoong trying to convince Laura that it didn't make sense that he wasn't her bias. So we got into
That's true.
ATEEZ during fireworks era, which meant that Mingi was on break because he did a hiatus for mental health reasons, which we clap for,
Stan.
adore, and respect. We stand a self-aware king, and we stand the company also for giving him the time to
Right.
recover. And so when Laura was like, no, I think I like this guy who doesn't even go here right now, I was like, but wait, Hongjoong is a Kim. He's a leader. He's kind of a bully. He's everything you've ever loved, because that's typically her blueprint for
Mm.
when she likes people immediately. And then I think I sent her so many TikToks and so many things that I ended up
You
falling for
really
Hongjoong myself. Like
did.
this was the funniest reverse Uno play that I've ever done in my life. And now as of literally the past couple of weeks, I have gotten bit by the collecting bug again because
Oh.
last year was my Yoongi collecting era, and I'm currently very unhinged in my Hongjoong collecting era. So that's how I feel about him. But being the toxic Scorpio bitch that I am, I said I'm not giving up Songhwa. I'm not wrong about Songhwa. I still love my in the Joan man. So he's still like my second in command. I also collect cards of his. Not a lot of them though, because like he's so beautiful that I can't stare at him too long. Like it's just I can't. I can't. So yeah, I don't collect that many Songhwas because like the collection would ruin me financially.
Yeah, it's
And
very popular.
yeah, yeah, he literally sells for super expensive compared to the rest of the group. So and Hongjoong is, not at that level just yet, but he's also hard to claim these days.
Mm.
So yeah, I love them both in very different ways, and no one's allowed to look at Hongjoong ever except me. Thank you. Oh, and someone stole mine. Thank you.
And just in general, I did kind of want to mention that when we did the episode, it felt like we knew so much.
It did.
But at the same time, now looking back and now being a little bit more mature in our K-pop adventures and our K-pop life, as a multi-stan, and I think we've talked about this a lot, you can't really get into a group too much or like know as much as a person that only stands the one group.
Yeah.
So we are always kind of learning new things about, or at least I am always learning new things about the groups, like niche things that I just
Yeah.
don't have the time or the attention span to like find out on my own, because I am not just looking at that one group, I'm looking at about 20 others.
A hundred
So
percent.
it's been kind of like a growing experience, a learning experience. One of our friends became a hardcore 18,
Yeah.
and she
Because we introduced her to them, and initially the introduction didn't take.
it
But
did
then
not.
like Bouncy era happened, and then she was like, "Oh." And
That's
then
right.
that was it. That's all she wrote.
So she also keeps us pretty informed
She
in
does.
niche, like if you're not super 18, you would not know a type of thing. So it's
Yeah.
always nice to not, at least for me, it's nice to not know everything. So there is something new to like
As a
find
Ravenclaw, I
out.
don't agree with that. I do feel like I have to know everything at all times. So I do appreciate our friend for keeping us posted. Shout out to you, Alex. And then for also informing me of everyone selling cars so I can buy them from them because, yeah, why not file for bankruptcy in 2024? Why not?
The only reason she doesn't tell me as much is because Mingy is also not very easy to
Secure.
claim.
Yeah, by the
So,
time that anybody gets the accounts, he's been
I know
claimed for sure.
exactly. So within this, we dropped that early 2022, right? Yeah, early 2022. So
Yeah.
it's been
It's
about
been
two
2 years.
years. So in those 2 years, ATEEZ has grown I would say exponentially, like
Hugely. Yeah.
exponentially.
Yeah.
They have accomplished quite a lot in 2 years in terms of awards. They got Artist of the Year in 2022 and 2023 at the Fact Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of sales, with their last comeback, the World EP Fin. I never know how to read their titles. They're so confusing. Like
Right. Finwill. Let's just call it Finwill. It is what it is.
ASO, ASO. They sold 1.6 million copies in South Korea in the first week of dropping,
Oh,
and
huge.
they debuted at the top of the Billboard 200 chart with 152,000 sales.
Crazy.
So that's
Crazy
pretty
form.
big. Ah!
Crazy form. Oh, michota.
So that's pretty big. I do kind of want to mention that even though they have grown quite a lot in terms of sales and the group's popularity in general, I do want to say that they're still kind of underdogs in
Hmm.
terms of like the Korean awards programs.
Sure.
It feels like they're nominated for like international awards and not so much for like more like domestic type
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
categories. I don't know how to explain it.
It did feel like they were one of the biggest snubs in like 2023 award season with like
Mm,
Mama and a bunch of other awards that we expected a lot more considering how
right.
big Bouncy was
Right.
and Outlaw in general. So,
Right.
agreed.
Like they usually got nominated for like international fan award or something like that. Not really like the more domestic type of category. So
Agreed.
they've grown a lot, but people still want to knock them down. But aside from the group growing together, the members have also had fun projects pop up in the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take over this next
Well, sure. I would love to talk about how my beautiful Kim Hongjoong has been tapped, asked to go to Paris Fashion Week, and he's like on speed dial with Olivier Rousteing. And it's just beautiful to watch him try on those beautiful clothes that are probably made for way taller people than he is,
one?
but he still rocks them. And he's just such a bad bitch. And I'm just here waiting for individual Instagram accounts era because it's only a matter of time with the fashion sponsorships coming.
Yeah.
And I think he's a perfect ambassador for Balmain. Like
100%.
perfect, just perfect, perfect, perfect. So Yeah, I'm loving and eating up all the content being produced from that relationship.
He's the first one out of the group to be
Fashion King
sponsored, yeah, by a major fashion house. So
on his own, correct? Yeah,
nice.
love that for him.
Hongjoong and have been hosts for Idol Radio. They were hosts. I think they
Right,
just
it ended. They had a,
retired,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they were hosts for what seemed to be a very long time.
It was like a year and a half, it felt. Yeah,
Yeah, who has been a host for a very long time.
an actual hugely long time.
3 whole years
Yeah.
is Yeosang with the show. He's been an MC for them for 3 years. We actually went to the show in November of 2022 when we visited Korea, but unfortunately,
Out of the
they were
3 freaking years that he's been there,
he and the group were out touring because that's another thing that they've done, but we will be talking about that
in
later.
a little bit. Yeah, but yeah, he wasn't
Yeah,
there, unfortunately, the day that we went to the show. Sad face,
literally.
tears.
Probably would have made the experience worthwhile.
And we were excited to like, well, I mean, by the time that we went to the show, we knew he wasn't going to be there because we knew he was on
Yeah.
tour. But when we were looking at the shows that we could possibly get into, which is not that easy to do, we're like, oh, Yeosang hosts a show. But no, didn't get lucky in that regard, unfortunately.
And then finally, just to kind of conclude their accomplishments, they've won music shows. They won 5 times with Bouncy and 4 times with Crazy Form.
Just in
So
2023.
right, right, right. They
That's
won like
amazing.
6 times with Gorilla, and I think that was after our episode 2.
Yeah, yeah,
But
for sure.
just wanted to keep it to
Yeah, yeah, we're only
2023.
talking about the recent
Right.
developments for sure.
But yeah, they're killing it.
They really
Luckily.
are. And with that, again, this is like an update episode, so we have talked about some of these things, but we just
Hmm.
wanted to do a quick refresher and just bring up whatever else has come up since we talked about it. So, with us talking about Ateez, it's impossible not to talk about KQ Entertainment.
Right.
So, let's just dive into a little bit of what's been going on with them since we did our episode back in, I want to say like May, June of last year.
Right. So, in terms of KQ, one of the things that we mentioned in that episode was trying to figure out if KQ was a small company or a big
Mm-hmm.
company or a medium-sized company.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of settled in the area that they're kind of more mid-sized just based on AT's success
Mm-hmm.
and the backing and partnerships that they have had from major corporations and companies like CJ, E&M, and Sony Music. I still think this is like a hot topic in a teeny dumb. I don't know why it's
Yeah.
such a big deal, but
Well, because I think part of the reason why fans like to root for a group is whenever there's a disadvantage that's very obvious.
mm,
And so, because in Korea, it's such a big deal that most of the successful groups are only from big three, big four companies, it's always going to be a big deal that any group comes out from literal under ashes. And even though KQ had a lot of success with Block B before they renamed and everything. And they're not by any means a small little poor company in a little corner.
mhm,
It's just fans. They want to make sure that their idols are applauded for their accomplishments, which we agree
right.
with.
Yeah,
But it's, it's there's no doubt for me that Ateez has reached what they have because of their own talent and
right,
out of volition, but they do have more backing than more of the smaller companies typically
right,
do. And that's just a fact.
right. You don't debut with a music video filmed out of the country if you're a poor little
Right.
company that doesn't have absolutely any money. So,
Right. Before getting the fan support and before
right,
getting the funds. So the
right.
funds were there and that's fine. That's great. Glad that they
Yeah,
had them so that they could shoot such an
right.
amazing debut video.
If they weren't talented and charismatic, that could have just ended up in nothing
Could
because
have
there
flopped.
are so many K-pop groups that debut with a lot of backing and they go nowhere because they don't have the talent or the charisma. So,
Correct.
another thing that we wanted to talk about, because it has been, I think, also a year since this happened, is the whole Eximbay debacle, which we actually don't even know if it's Eximbay because I try to research more into it. Okay, before I go into that, what happened was a lot of people experience fraudulent charges on their credit cards after buying the aTEAny membership.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people had in common that they use Eximbay. So it has been a year since this happened, and to this day, nobody, nobody has said anything about this. Not ToqTok, which is where their membership platform is, not Eximbay, not KQ, literally nobody. I looked it up and there was only one English article that I could find, and it was on Koreaboo. And it was talking about like fans, like it was just reporting about fans talking on Twitter about it. Like
Yeah.
nothing else. I couldn't find anything else. I didn't search the Korean articles. I didn't. But still, like,
Yeah, it didn't really blow up as much as you would have expected because there was a lot of people complaining about being hacked, including Laura.
mhm,
So so yeah, I don't know why it didn't pick up any, well, I guess I do, money works at the end of the day. I do believe somebody had said that XMB posted something somewhere, but it wasn't, again, like big news that they were reaching out to try to make sure like the fans were safe. It was very much like, a little tiny notice somewhere, but
yeah.
not really looking out for the fans at all.
I think I saw something like that, but again, it was like a fan tweeting about it. It wasn't
Yeah.
like anything major or anything
Yeah.
official. Like
Yeah.
this was a data breach and nobody spoke about it.
Which
Just
is
ignored.
weird when because data is such a protected thing in Korea out of all places.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
insane.
yeah, agreed.
Insane. Insane. Still salty about
Tell
it.
us how you really feel.
That is a great segue into a new development in the aTEAny pirate world. aTEAny ship. KQ and Ateez partnered with a company called B Stage to develop an app just for Ateez called
Hmm.
ToqTok. It's basically like a Weavers.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is basically a Weavers for Ateez.
Hmm.
A lot of other companies and artists host their fan sites, their fan communities
Yeah.
with B Stage, but ToqTok is just for ATs, I believe. So that's fun. That's interesting. That gives them, I think, more like ground to say that they've grown where
Mm.
they can have their own app. In terms of the app, I downloaded it when they came out with it because obviously I needed to see what they were up to or
Hmm.
whatever. And I promptly dropped it. I bought the membership, got hacked, and then I started using it and it sort of sucked because at the beginning it was just like a website. Then they developed ToqTok, like the app, but the app and the website were super similar. So it was just, there's a lot of issues with the app. One, it's not very user friendly. There's a lot of paywalls for content, like more than usual, or like more than like Weavers.
Hmm.
You can save pictures, like multiple pictures at the same time. So, like, if they drop, let's say, 20 pictures in a post, you have to go individually save every single picture. And most importantly, there are no in app translations.
Which
So,
is wild.
right. I didn't want to have to like copy paste, take up screenshot, go to like,
Yeah, no.
I
Just integrate Papago
no.
into the freaking app, bro. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
like
It's
it's
2024.
it's just it's not it. We spoke about it with our aTEAny friend and she also agreed that it's not it. And she is not unbiased. She literally cannot say anything bad about Ateez
Ever.
ever. And she still doesn't like ToqTok.
ToqTok,
So
yeah. There you go.
that tells you something.
We do have quite a bit of Atiny following us, and we
Mhm.
asked about it on our stories yesterday. And it seems like most Atiny have just decided not to engage with the app,
Yeah.
and they're just getting their content secondhand from people we're posting on Twitter and just other ways to look at whatever ATEEZ is dropping. I subscribed to the app the same day as Laura to the subscription. I didn't get hacked, fortunately, but I also haven't checked it once. I've never went to like look at the content. I get the notifications, the emails every day on my phone. ATEEZ drop new content, ATEEZ dropped a survey, and I just delete every single email and I go look on Twitter or elsewhere for the content.
It's that when you buy the membership, you have to register
Hmm.
in the app.
Hmm.
And I remember it was the most stressful 30 minutes of my life. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing, where I was supposed to be putting the information. It was just so confusing. And I was like, oh my God, if I put my information wrong and like there's a tour or something and my name doesn't, it was just,
It's a lot.
it's a lot.
So, not big fans of ToqTok anywhere
Mm.
in the area. Aside from ToqTok, though, there's another app that ATs decided to engage with, and that's Fromm with two M's at the end. So, while they use ToqTok as a media platform and a fan community and general communication platform, Fromm is more like Bubble for those of you who know groups from SM or JYP that use Bubble. And it's for like more one-on-one talking with fans. And it also has a shop component so people can buy items from the store, and it has their own like pre-order benefit photo cards that come from when you purchase albums or things on there. So it's a pretty well fleshed out operation. It's obviously paid. We haven't seen a ton of the plan options in there because I'm simply not interested, but we were just looking at the app repertoire right now. There are a ton of artists on there, and
Mm.
I was surprised to see that a lot of groups who are on Weavers and have a Weaver shop also have a From shop. So I guess there isn't a contract with exclusivity with Weavers, and they're trying to get their items listed in as many places as possible, which is great for the groups to get their money where they can. So one of the plans that I did see as an option, I don't know if this information is recent or older, but it kind of gives you an idea of what you can do. You can pay for a year of use with the app, and it this person was paying $54 a year, and that also allotted you three photo cards. Another plan option was $30 for 6 months, also came with three photo cards. And the third option was $15 for 3 months, and it came with one photo card. And they did also have a plan for $5 a month that had no benefits, which I think is the one that Laura saw. If you pay
Yeah.
$4.99 a month, you can talk to one artist. And it doesn't really let you go into a group. You have to pick the specific member that you want to talk to, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to pay $4.99 a month to talk to them. There is also limitations with what you can do with that money. The message limit for in-app subscription is 3 messages, while if you are a best from friend, it's 5 messages. Message character limit, it's 50 with the in-app subscription. If you are a best from friend, it's 150 characters. Message recharge time with an in-app subscription is 120 hours. With best from friend, it's 72. I guess that's like how often you have
Yeah. The possibility
the
of talking.
possibility of, yeah. And then already change option. So if you have an in-app subscription, yes, you can change during from friend subscription period. But if you're a best from friend, no, your BFF subscription needs to be purchased separately. They don't call their artists, they call them arty, which is super weird. Don't get it.
Weird.
But anyway, so the application again allows you to talk one on one or look like you're talking one on one. You send a
Right.
message and you receive back a message that looks like it's in a chat just between you and the artist, but you know that basically if Hongjoong said, "Hi, babe," it's going to send it to every single person that subscribed to his messages. So yeah, it's another parasocial enabling tool,
Mm.
and I don't care for that, so I don't have all the tea there. So
Also,
I
the
don't know.
options from the app and the shop are completely different. So just beware that whatever the app shows you, there might be something else from the actual shop. So if you're interested, check it out. Don't check it out. I don't know. Personally, I've been dying to try one of these apps.
Like
I just
messaging.
haven't, yeah, I just hadn't like I hadn't chosen which app, whether it was Bubble or it was Fromm or like Weaver's DMs. I think I'm gonna go more towards Bubble, but this one just sounds like I'm still on the fence. But I
Yeah,
will try it at least for 1 month just because I just want to see how cringy it is. Like
I can't. I don't
I,
think I can.
you
No.
know, I love cringe.
You know I don't love cringe. It's not for
I
me.
know.
So with that, we are moving on from the KQ operational side to a little bit more of the artistic side, but from a different perspective, which is with KQ produce, which is funny that it's called produce because it sounds like groceries.
Yeah,
But no,
lettuce.
but it is fresh though, which is
Hey.
the sub label of KQ Entertainment that has signed Eden and Maddox. So, who are these people? If you're a hardcore Atiny, you know who they are. But
Mm.
for everyone else who's listening and is not really aware of their presence, Eden is a South Korean singer-songwriter and producer. He debuted on February 17th of 2017 with the single Urban Hymns, but has been producing since 2010. He currently produces also alongside Buddy, Lees, and Olander, and all of them collectively are known as EDENARY. And something important that I think is like why I was interested in talking about this is because Eden was born in 88, so he's 35. He's an oppa, actual oppa for us, which is hard to find these days in K-pop.
Yeah.
So I love that. And Hongjoong has always talked about how when he first got in and started training, like he really wanted to impress Eden. He was like, because he was like, and like an older guy. And so that was part of the motivation for Hongjoong to become great. And I love that for him. So even though he's produced and written on a ton of songs for Ateez, I'll just talk about most recent with Finn Will. Eden was credited as a writer, composer, and arranger for We Know, Emergency, Crazy Form, Arriba, and Silverlight. I don't know why I said Arriba like a gringa.
Yeah.
Arriba. Sorry, my bad. Se me pegan. My talking in English, trying to be, proper. And then he was credited as a composer and arranger for Crescent Part 2, Dreamy Day, Matt's Is You, Everything, and Fenwell. So he's involved in literally every part of the process of creation for AT's music. And we love that for him. We love a committed producer and someone that the group can trust and someone that can write storylines and things that make sense to the group because he's very close to them. And then Maddox on the side is a South Korean singer, songwriter, and producer. He debuted on April 3rd, 2019 with a digital single, But Maybe. He's had other singles since then, a lot of collaborations with Eden and features with Eden as well. He's collaborated with Hootie, with Dooyoung, and a bunch of other people. So he's definitely up and coming. We see him somewhat frequently in AT's vlogs. He seems to have a nice voice. He has sang
Mm.
together with them. And Hongjoong especially seems to have a very soft spot in his heart for Maddox. So, and he speaks English, so he's a fun connection for international fans when they're watching along. And sometimes Hongjoong speaks in English with him and practices his English with him. So, again, another just fun relationship that we get to witness, which is not very common in K-pop.
No. One of the things that I've brought up to Kathy, it's that kind of like with Blackpink and Teddy, where they're working with the same producer and their songs tend to have a lot of same elements and they become kind of formulaic. If ATs would fall into this eventually, because like Kathy said, most of their songs are produced within their KQ produce like
Bubble.
sub label bubble. And like I feel like if you're an artist and you're always working with the same people, there comes a point where it can become stale. Like if you
Mm,
don't seek outside sources, you're just gonna fall into the same thing that you know because it's what you like, right? So I just wonder if they have like a plan to not, or like to make sure that that doesn't happen, or you get what I mean?
I do, but I was gonna say I'm gonna contradict you with your own point because whenever we've talked about this, you proudly
Mm-hmm.
talk about how Woozy and Bumju are the ones who are responsible for producing all of 17's discography, and all of their music sounds
Right,
wildly different.
right.
I don't think KQ has to worry about that right now, based on what they've been putting out.
But for the most part, I think AT's music does sound very similar
But you
with
don't
what they
listen to
put
the
out.
B-sides as
That's
much.
true. That's
Like
true. At
the
least for
last
their
album,
titles, that's
yeah,
true.
the titles do sound licuadora tiki tiki, like that. That's
Yeah.
definitely, they make noisy music. There's no question about that. But I do think also when you listen to a lot of 17's titles, you can tell right away it's a 17 song. They do
Right.
have a sound. It might be a little bit more subtle and more well camouflaged with other beats and genres because Woozy and Bumjo are really good at mixing, which is all the power to them. But I think if we look at everything that AT's put out for Finn Will, like from Crazy Form
Okay.
to
Okay.
Arriba, which is,
Okay.
this
Okay.
like
Okay.
Latin based song, and then you have Jongho's ballad with everything, and you have Youth,
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's true. That's true.
all these songs. I think you can tell that there is a huge difference between them. So
That's true.
again,
Okay.
for now, I think that KQ is fine and
Okay.
Ateez is fine, and they don't need to go too much outside of what they already have
I'm convinced.
with, yeah, with Eden. I think Eden is doing his homework and making good beats for them and diverse beats for them. La cucaracha, da, na, 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 da, 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 da. Sorry. I didn't even like that song when it first came out, but it was a sleeper hit for me. It's just like I think I just like Yeosang in it. That's it. That's it. And
Oh,
with that
perfect
said,
segue.
perfect segue. Let's talk about a thing that's been eating at our souls. We really wanted to talk about the mistreatment from KQ Entertainment towards Yeosang. Laura, please take it away.
I hardcore just rolled my eyes. Like So when we did the episode 2 years ago, I was just Mingy. Like I didn't even look at anybody else. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't. Like I didn't care. I didn't want to. But recently, Yeosang caught my attention because, and I mentioned this before, he had a photo card with a strawberry, and that was
Yeah.
the start of my love for him. And then KQ has been really digging into and really going for the baby girl sort of like aesthetic for him.
Yeah.
And I just think it's so funny because he's so muscular, but his face is so pretty. So
Yeah.
like the contradiction of the two, or like the contrast, it just kills me. Like I love it.
Yeah.
So I really, 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 really feel this because when you look at AT songs, the line distribution
She about
is
to pull up receipts, guys. Okay? Get ready.
freaking annoying. So I did not do this research, but there are a lot of very dedicated aTEAny that I think wholeheartedly for doing this.
Mm.
So there are a lot of Reddit posts or Reddit threads
Threads?
talking about this. There's this one that I found that was so good. Oh my God. They took their time. I don't even know who posted it because it like the username got deleted, but this was about 4 years ago. So it's not current with
Right, it's
current
not updated
information,
with the latest.
but just so you know, it hasn't changed.
Right.
So in that point, at that point in time, Yeosang averaged about 8.2 seconds in their whole discography. There is a song, Treasure, where
Mm,
he has 1.7 seconds
that's
of singing
insane.
time,
That's
right?
insane.
This was 4 years ago. Our frenemies at Koreaboo, I don't know what to call them.
I don't know. Right.
also do deep dives into line distributions because this is something that a lot of fans feel really strongly about.
Right.
And they have covered very recent like comebacks. He doesn't average more than like 4 seconds a song. There's a couple of sections or songs here and there where he'll have like 8 seconds, but for the most part, he gets 2 or 3 seconds, and that's it. That's freaking ridiculous. Like I don't I understand that most K-pop songs are 3 to 4 minutes, that there are 8 of them,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
it
it's
could
a,
be
it's
a
a
little bit more
consistent
evenly.
thing.
Yeah, like you can split it a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
And I think those
mhm,
recent like 4 to 5 seconds that he gets, they're actually exploiting his beauty and dance prowess on stage. Like I think
right.
they've given him a few more like solo moments because he is very like breathtaking when he performs.
Hmm.
So those lines are directly linked to opportunities for performance on stage. It's not necessarily like a
Right.
vocal performance of any kind.
And recently, I don't remember which comeback it was that they let him use his deep voice.
Birthmark? Oh,
No,
never
his
mind.
his his deep voice,
Yeah,
his deep or
his lower
register.
register. Yeah.
And aTEAny went crazy for it. Me.
Mm.
And now it's like a thing that they won't let go. And I think that's another reason why they've given him a little bit more like
Opportunities for those little solo
opportunity in the
moments.
last couple of comebacks just because they know aTEAny loves it. But
Yeah.
again, it is significantly less than
No, yeah, yeah.
Jungho, Hongjoong, Mingi. Like it is, and I understand, the rappers tend to get a little bit more lines, especially in Ateez, which is a pretty, I would like to think a pretty rap heavy group,
Yeah.
but it's ridiculous.
Mm.
Like ridiculous. An average of like what was it that I said? 4 seconds?
Yeah. Well, eight at the beginning and four now.
Disgusting.
Yeah. That's not
Disgusting.
good.
Mm-mm.
Not good and not fair.
And then, like Kathy mentioned a little bit ago, Yeosang has his birthmark. He has
Mm-hmm.
mentioned before that it used to be bright red when he was younger,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really pretty. It's very cute.
It's so cute.
KQ covered it up since his debut.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until the comeback for spin-off for The Witness that like KQ, I guess, allowed him to use it in like actual concept photos
Mm-hmm.
and like the professional photos. And it's great because it showcases that everyone's differences are beautiful,
Mm.
but at the same time, it's kind of gross because they kind of treat it like an accessory and
Mm.
not just something like not just like a part of him. They recently dropped a character line, I think their second character line,
Yeah.
and his character doesn't have the birthmark.
Mm.
Which, like, if they're trying to depict them as they are, I think you would
Right.
want to add, something that's on his face.
For sure. For sure.
But whatever. Speaking of this character comeback or drop or character development, I don't even fucking know what they're called. They're just cute little characters, right?
Right.
They dropped them, and Atiny noticed that Yeosang was depicted as a Maltese.
Mm-hmm.
And so some Atiny asked him about it. And he basically said that he didn't actually choose the Maltese, that it was the company that did. He actually wanted to be represented by a Doberman, but the staff slash company thought that Atini would want him to be a Maltese more than a Doberman. And so they kind of gaslit him into being like, oh, yeah, I guess this makes more sense. But he really wanted to be a Doberman. And like, let the guy be a Doberman. Like, it
Like
would have sold anyway.
it's a dog at the end of the day, and
Like,
he's before like rejected the fact that he has any sort of Maltese energy like many times, and he's always said that he sees himself as a Doberman. So why would the company like, and I understand that it's a business and that they need to sell things, but at least international fans would buy whatever mascot he had, especially knowing that he loved that representation of himself. So I feel like it's just another day of being frustrated at KQ for
Right.
him.
It to me, it would be like, and I don't want to bring another group into it,
Mm.
but it would be like making Hoshi from 17 a
Hamster.
hamster instead of a tiger. Like, you get
Right.
what I mean? It'd be that
Yeah.
type of situation where
Yeah.
like, would people buy the hamster? 100%. But like,
Yeah.
he doesn't fucking want the hamster. He
No,
didn't want the fucking Maltese. Like,
I think that's a great example. Yeah.
and I've seen like fan made like depictions or fan made like little drawings of a Doberman in the style of these characters, and it's
Yeah.
so cute.
They could have made it cute, but they decided
Mm-hmm.
not to. And they were like,
No,
no, this isn't sell. And I think that sucks for him.
it does. And you know what fans added aside
Mm.
from the Doberman?
The birthmark.
Birthmark.
Of course. Of course. Because fans are fans and they want to show them that we love them for who they are,
Mm-hmm.
or at least for who they show us they are.
Right, right. But which is what they want us to look at, right? And
Right, right, right. Yeah.
perceive. But
Yeah.
anyway. And
Yeah.
then I mentioned earlier that one of the things that made me fall for Yeosang was the fact that his face is so pretty, but his body was like super bulky and like grr 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 grr.
Mm-hmm.
So he went on this YouTube channel as part of the comeback for Finwill, and they were talking about the gym and stuff, and he mentioned that the company actually told him to like chill out with the gym because he was getting too bulky. A lot of aTEAny have said that maybe he was getting buff too quickly because he had mentioned that because of a lot of their concepts, he felt like he needed to bulk up a little bit so he would fit better,
Mm.
and that maybe he was doing it in an unhealthy way, and that's what they told him to do it. Which, if that's the truth, then yeah, but you don't tell him to stop bulking up. You just say, hey, instead of doing it unhealthily, let us get you a trainer or something, which I'm sure they already have.
Sure.
So, like, that kind of reasoning is a little sus to me, to be quite honest.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just think personally, he was just getting too big compared to like the other members, and he might have lost a little bit of the elasticity or like the, what do you call that?
Flexibility,
Flexibility, because when you gain muscle, you do lose a little bit of flexibility in your body.
like fluidity for movements and stuff like
Right.
that. Mm.
And maybe that's why they were like, yo, you got to stop.
Mm.
Kind of like how they've, you know, again, I don't want to bring other people, but Peniel from B2B said that his company also told him to stop working out because he was making his members look smaller. So maybe it was something like that, like, hey, you're making the rest look bad. You're not fitting your baby girl persona that we want you to fill because aTEAny loves it, and you need to chill the fuck out. Which again, bro, it's his body. Like,
Yeah, these people don't own their lives for so many years, and it's like whatever little control they have should be left to them. And
mm,
yeah, ugh, ugh, no, no, not a fan.
uh-uh. And this is actually a great segue to our next topic. But just as like a one last thing, they held a Q&A in a fan meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the only member that had no questions asked. And instead of the company making sure that there was something for him, even if they have to fucking make it up because Ktiny didn't ask for shit, they just let it be. So he sat there and said, what
Where's
about
my
me?
name? Yeah,
Like, are you kidding me? Like,
that is so
okay.
sad. Like I would struggle, my mental health would struggle if I were in his situation. And I really
Same.
hope that he's okay. I really hope that he's treating this like a job and that he's just here to get his check and move on. But I can't imagine a world in which that altogether wouldn't affect me because it's
Same.
like working out and bulking up is hard enough as it is. And it's like even doing the job and doing what I have to do is getting me in trouble. Like can't do
Literally.
anything right. And so, and I saw, I don't know how recent it is, but apparently he was doing a live and Ktiny or aTEAny were flattering his face a lot. And he was like, oh, you guys are making a lot of good comments about my face. Like, does that mean that I need to diet more? Because I guess he's like on a dieting period. And it's like soul crushing that
Oh,
he and idols like him are tying the compliments to whatever, not, I don't want to say destructive behavior, but whatever behavior they're engaging in that isn't necessarily considered healthy by most standards. Because we
right.
already know that the dieting culture in South Korea can be like extreme, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Very extreme. So, yeah, I really hope that he doesn't think that he needs to starve or anything for ATN to appreciate him. Like that
Yeah.
crushes my heart.
He doesn't. He's beautiful how he is.
Yeah. And like like Laura said, that segue kind of sets the tone for the next topic, which is something that I do want to address and go into with the disclaimer of we understand South Korea's culture is different from the Western culture, and fans of K-pop, obviously Korean fans are the original K-pop fans, and they have their traditions and their way of being
Right.
fans and acting as fans. So we're not critiquing South Korean fan culture, but there's a little bit of a conversation right now on social media platforms about Korean aTEAny maybe not meeting the mark when it comes to mobilizing and energizing ATEEZ as compared to international aTEAny. So when I say that Ktiny doesn't mobilize for ATEEZ, I mean like in terms of streaming for them and album sales, their numbers are typically low for how big ATEEZ has gotten compared to other groups that have also achieved international success and are still rocking in South Korea. So there's a theory by some international fans that says that there's a lot of cases where Ktiny is trying to gatekeep ATEEZ because they want them to remain a Nugu group, which at this point it's not possible. They're not Nugu anymore. So, but if they remain quote unquote Nugu, that means that they'll be able to get more opportunities to meet them and access them. And so that's why like there's this weird dynamic where they know they can do more, but they're not because they want to keep them to themselves. I don't know how true this is. I don't know how effective this is, but this is a theory that's floating around.
To me, that would just make KQ want to take ATs international more. Because in the end, there's a lot of money being made in the international K-pop scene by all of these different companies.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, it's one country versus literally the rest
I
in
mean,
terms
I
of like buying power. So,
sure. And I think KQ has already been doing that because one of the
yeah.
complaints from Ktini for a while was that all ATs did was tour from 2022 through now.
Yeah.
Like they've been touring out of the country. And so that's another theory that's floating that Ktini is basically punishing ATs for always catering more internationally. But again, I don't think that's true for Korean fans. Like they are getting their moments. They got so many opportunities during the last two comebacks to interact with them in person. They did like the outside of the broadcast show. They have done fan signs, they have their video calls, they have everything. And a lot of it caters only to Korea. So I don't know. Aside from that, again, another example of them not mobilizing for ATs, and by them I mean KTini, last few times that ATEEZ has had a comeback and they get to the point where they're top two and they're in front of the TV monitors and their points are tallying up for a possible music win, they have a one category in the rubric of how groups win that is called digital, which means weekly top 200, at least one chart on Melon, Genie, Flow, Vibe, or Bugs, where basically streaming gets them points to win in a music show. They also include sales, like album sales and stuff like that, views on YouTube. A lot of things count towards this, but digital is mainly on Korean streaming platforms. International fans don't really have the possibility of downloading apps like Melon or any of them to their phones because
Mm,
if you're not in Korea, you can't download those apps. So it's literally up to Korean aTEAny to run the
right.
numbers up for them. And during the June 23rd week, when they were on Music Bank, their digital points were 10, as compared to G Idol had, I mean, it was Queen Card, but still had 3,588.
Mm.
I've had 3,048 with I Am. aespa had 2,856 with Spicy, and Stray Kids had 549 with Five Star. And mind you, Stray Kids came back 2 weeks before Ateez, so they had more time on the chart. So it's understandable that they had a little bit less digital. But there's now a running, I guess, joke at this point within like aTEAny online because Wooyoung always makes a face when he sees that the digital points are 10, 12, or 7 or whatever. So if you want to see these faces, go check out our blog. It's linked from our description below from whatever platform you're watching. And you can see Wooyoung's. Sometimes he laughs because why not laugh if you're feeling like crying? And other times he's just simply shook. So that's when international aTEAny kind of complain and get mad at the situation with Korean aTEAny. Then we also have recent examples now that Ateez has begun their tour for 2024. They started obviously in Seoul and they
Mm,
had two amazing performances. Their first performance,
so good.
first of all, the groups always come out for sound check before the concert. They all come out and Hongjoong is surprised at the silence in the crowd and he literally asks them, "Why are you so quiet?" So again, I'm not coming for South Korean culture. Laura and I went to South Korea. We went to see the show. We went to see Treasure in concert because it was the only concert that we could go to. We really wanted to go to a K-pop concert, and that was the only one that was happening while we were there. So we have witnessed Korean concert culture ourselves. The main kind of thing is like they're mostly quiet and calm and in their seats and waving their light sticks in unison. But when there's a fan chant opportunity, or when the artist says scream or "Surichila" or whatever
Right,
else they
right, right,
say,
right,
people get lit. And
right.
we witnessed it in person. This didn't happen during this particular concert, which was day one of their Seoul concert for this recent tour. Even when they were, again, during sound check, they were sound checking with the song Wave, and Jongho was standing in front of some fans that recorded him, and he could tell that they didn't know the fan chant, which is like, you have one job as a fan, and that's to know the fan chant. Especially if you have sound check tickets, that means you're pretty much a hardcore fan, like,
Especially if you speak Korean.
especially as a Korean
Like,
speaker.
you
Exactly.
best believe if I was a Korean speaker, I'd be fan chanting my heart out. But I don't, and I can barely speak English.
Girl. And it's like you have your opportunity to have your YN moment with them standing in front of you during sound check with a limited crowd that feels more intimate. They're there for just like 3 songs and
Yeah.
they literally flopped. They fumbled the bag. So, yeah. And then San apparently later said that he didn't say it precisely in these words, but basically he like didn't want to share video of the concert because it was quiet. Like, guys, that's not good. Because we always know and we always hear when artists come here, especially to the West, that they just get so much energy from the crowd. Like the artist literally feeds on that energy and it helps them perform harder. AT's choreographies are really fucking hard and
Yeah.
exhausting and demanding, and it's a cardio workout for them. So if you're not gonna go to an ATEEZ concert to scream your face off and say break the wall and fucking
I was
borderline
just gonna say
cause an
that.
earthquake, then what are you gonna go to a concert for ATEEZ for?
When they did it in South America,
I mean, Brazilian fans and South Korean fans are at the complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Concerts in Brazil are wild and fans are screaming. They know the words. They're not even Korean, but they know every fucking word. Remember the concert from like NCT? They were even mouthing the beat, the melody. Brazilian
so
fans
good.
are like ready. Like they
It
they
was so
they sing
good.
along to the fucking melody. I live for that. Like for Laura and I to sit quietly and together at the Treasure concert in South Korea was really hard because we're more close to Brazilian fans. We're not there, like not quite there with like how crazy we are, but we can get there. So again, it's not ranking on South Korean culture. We've been there, we understand it, we respect it, we have seen it with our own eyes. What we're seeing with ATEEZ is not the typical South Korean
Right.
fan culture. So it's giving sus. It's giving I don't get it. And it's giving
Yeah.
get it together girlies because I mean, again, if I were Hongjoong or any one of the ATEEZ members, I'd be like, give me 60 dates in Brazil because I don't care. I just want to go and like hear the
Yeah.
fans scream and get my life from that.
Yeah. I mean, especially, I mean, they're Korean, so they know how concert culture is there. Like, so if they're also shook by it because they're giving permission and saying, join me in
Exactly.
making noise, and they don't, it's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
I'm not
I
calling
don't,
y'all out. Hongjoong's calling y'all out.
yeah, I don't know if I've ever been in a concert where people don't make noise when
Yeah. And
the
even,
artist
okay,
tells you to make noise.
fine. If you were told by your parents your whole life not to make noise at a concert, okay, whatever. What about when the last line in Jungle is Yeosang saying, put your hands up? And then when Bouncy started, he literally went, Atiny, I told you to put your hands up and you didn't. So you're not even
Yeah.
following directions. Like, what the
It's they're
fuck?
they're giving permission, they're telling you what to do and you're not doing it. It's weird.
And they ask for this because again, it feeds them. It feeds their
Right.
spirits and it allows them to keep going through a grueling and let's talk about this tour really recently.
Mm.
Because again, it's not just choreo. At this point, they're acting. Like they don't even need VCRs because they're acting in person. They're doing very hardcore, intense, like 80s alternate universe in person on stage. Like Songhwa nominated for an Oscar, okay, for his acting. Yuno nominated for a freaking Emmy, okay, for his acting. Like they're doing the absolute most on this tour.
They really
The
are.
least we can do is scream our faces off for them and raise our hands if Yeosang asks us to, okay?
They're
Okay?
bumping and grinding for 3 hours.
They
The songs that don't
go,
even match. And here we are. And here is Atiny not giving them what they want. Like,
well,
seriously?
again, Ktiny is
K-Teeny.
arguably the ones that can bring up their energy a little bit. Okay. That's how we're
Yeah, because
asking for
they have yet to announce the rest of their dates.
dates,
But
which
this is
is a great segue to talk about what's been keeping ATEEZ busy in the past, presently, and coming up. So, ATEEZ is eating up the concert, festival, and con circuit. And so last year, we got to witness them being deliciously wet in water bomb
mm,
Japan. Those photo cards, girl. I hate all of you that
mm.
have them. Every single one of you that have a photo card from Waterbomb, I'm coming to your house and taking it from you. They also showed up at KCON LA 2023. I still regret not being there because that was an
Same.
amazing lineup with both Stray Kids and ATEEZ in the building. It was crazy. And Temin
NCT
and Ten
and
and
Taeyong. I
Shonu.
love my
Like,
life.
my God, Jesus Christ.
My friend got married. That's more important.
Yeah. I just couldn't go, but it's what it is. They also, again, we were just talking about the world tour. ATEEZ have been touring for literally 2 years straight right now. They were
Nonstop.
touring. They came to the US because I remember I tried to go see them in January of 2022 and it didn't work out. I was
Mm-hmm.
able to see them in November of 2022 because they
Mm-hmm.
came back that same year with another tour. And they toured all of 2023 and they've
Mm-hmm.
begun their tour for 2024. So those men are exhausted and jet lagged.
Yeah.
Again, please scream for them. And we found out recently that they'll be appearing at KCON Hong Kong, which is in March. So a little bit over a month and a half away from now. And we also found out in the past couple of weeks that they will be at Coachella in April. So all the Coachella girlies, please get ready to scream and not just showing up for taking pictures and looking cute for the gram. So break the wall in Coachella in the middle of the desert. Somehow figure it out. I don't know.
Philly.
Yeah. I don't
They're
I
gonna look great, aren't they?
They are. Everyone is tweeting cancel Coachella and everything because the dance moves and the outfits and everything that we've seen already for the tour is pretty freaking not PG-13, honestly.
Mhm.
And we can only imagine what they'll do on that stage in the heat of the desert, in the middle of West Coast, Best Coast vibes kind of thing.
It's gonna be great.
It
It's
is.
also a huge stepping stone because Coachella is, I mean, it's an American festival.
Yeah.
It's pretty, it shows that are breaking into the mainstream American market.
Yeah,
So
100%. And they are the first K-pop boy group to perform at Coachella because
yeah, they are.
we have aespa, we have Blackpink, and New Jeans performed at Lollapalooza. So
Yeah.
yeah, Ateez is the
Yeah.
first K-pop boy group to go. I mean,
Yeah.
Epic High was, invited earlier, but that's not K-pop. We just
Yeah.
pretend that it is because for SEO purposes.
Yeah.
But Ateez is, fourth gen, first K-pop group to be
Yeah.
invited to the festival. And we think they're a perfect fit for that type of festival too.
They are.
So
They are.
I mean, I think they'd be better at Lola, but whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
Lola is married to Hybe right now, so that's another story for another day. Go
Before
ahead.
we leave,
No,
I
yeah,
needed to get it out because I hadn't mentioned it.
say it.
I just talked about Yeosang and Mingi,
Mm,
but also Wooyoung is in my heart right now, and I love him, and I just needed to get that out there.
I love
Wooyoung,
that
if
for
you're
you.
listening, I love you.
Well, now that you talked about it, last week there was a little quiz going around of which AT's member would buy as you, and I got Wooyoung. So I'm so happy to report that I, Kathy from MIA2K, am Wooyoung's bias. And that makes me very happy in my soul.
I got you though, so
Well, we took that test several times. It's a hoax. It's fine. It's fine.
it's
But
fine.
but yeah, it was really funny and a fun moment in Atiny land last week.
Mm.
So
Thank you so much for listening, for watching. We hope you enjoyed our catch up or updating on ATs. Like we mentioned, we're learning things every single day.
every single day.
So if we miss something, there's always next time.
Yes, there is. Tell us what you want us to talk about, and we will do our best to show you a different side of ourselves.
Always and forever. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the MIA2K podcast. We have lots of great content coming up ahead, so please don't forget to follow and subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you enjoyed our episodes, please rate us 5 stars.
And for the real-time tea, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook by searching for @MIA2K Podcast. Dale. Bye.